Kia ora, everybody. Welcome to an incredibly crowded and messy desk as we film completed pages. I am in the middle of a bunch of things right now, and I want to do some things, but I realize I can't do those things until I film completed pages. I also have a stomach that is being louder than anything, so if you hear stomach noises, no, you don't. But this is February 2026 completed pages. And if you are new here, kia ora, my name is Amy. I'm a colorist based in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And February was definitely not my best month of coloring. It's been a wild month. I have a history though of kind of having a bit of a breakdown in February, and I didn't actually have a breakdown. I just took lots of self-care time this month. So that was good. That worked. Um, but in turn, I do have some completed pages to show you. I haven't even counted the total yet. But most of these are because of live streams. So yeah, I have not a lot to show you, but I think I have my favorite ever pages to show you as well. So I'm really excited to get into this, and make sure you stick around for the end to see what is definitely my favorite thing of the month and some really cool announcements if you haven't seen them already. So, of course, February 2026, this month has been hashtag Colouring for Cancer, the initiative started by Joe at Piggy Pen's Tube to raise money for the World Cancer Research Fund. So not only was I a part of the Tubeathon on the first weekend, in fact I was the very first slot of the Tubeathon, the following weekend I also did my own big 40-hour stream over the entire weekend. I had a 3-day weekend and I used all of it to stream and raise funds for the World Cancer Research Fund. And we did lots of fun stuff over that weekend. And because of those 2 weekends, that's the majority of my colouring that I have to show. So the first one, of course, is the TLC page that RJ Hampson put out as for giving a donation to the World Cancer Research Fund. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I have 2 variations of this page. This little one here was originally my colour mock-up for the big page. So I just had flat coloured with alcohol markers, and then I decided I may as well go in and actually finish it and actually shade it. So I did this one during the Tubeathon. This was the one thing that I managed to complete during Tubeathon, but I had some personal stuff that popped up that stream, so I didn't quite get to hang around as much as I liked. But yeah, we got that one completed, which is gorgeous. And then the page that I started during my live stream is, of course, the big version here, which I coloured entirely with glitter. So you can see it has been absolutely glitterified. The entire thing is coloured with glitter. No markers, no pencils, no nothing. It is all glitter. So I was originally planning to go back around with a paint pen on some of these edges, but I have decided against that. I decided that I haven't gone back to it all month. It's taken all month just to finish properly curing and drying. So it's finally cured at least because it's thick on here. But yeah, I love, love, love that it's all glitter. It was so fun. So it's a mixture of loose glitter, a little bit of stickles, and then Mod Podge Extreme glitter, which I also used over the top to seal everything down. So yeah, it's not even showing particularly how glittery it is on camera, because of course glitter is a bit of a nightmare to capture. If I turn on my torch, it might help a bit, and you can see some of the sparkle. Yeah, so the entire page is glitter. So I love, love, love how that's coming together. Or how that came together. So yeah, those are my 2 TLC pages from RJ Hampson, and he is an absolute delightful soul. Also, he did a video in February of colouring a little dragon, and he used glitter for the first time, and it was because of me, because he tagged me in it. He said I got inspired. It's like, oh my god. I am spreading the glitter, and I could not be happier, because if I'm known for anything, it's glitter. So yeah, so those are the first 2 completed pages, and unfortunately, because of other chaotic things that happened this month, I forgot to send these through to Jess at Colouring Bumblebee for the slide, and I'm so gutted. I was totally planning to, and then my mum actually ended up in hospital. She's totally okay. She's been discharged now, but she has given me permission to share. But basically, she developed sepsis. Now, we were lucky and caught it early, but it's in the space of 4 hours it hit. She went from I feel really odd to barely being able to breathe. That's how quick sepsis moves. And if we delayed any longer, ICU. So yeah, just take it as a lesson. If your gut is telling you to go, go. But yeah, like I said, she's out, doing much better now, and a lot less scary. Okay, so I have a pile of books now to share from the second weekend, which was my personal charity stream, where I streamed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I did at least 12 hours every day, and so in total it was 40 hours over the 3 days, and I did a bunch of different things. So for every £50 we raised, I gave away colouring pages by the beautiful Pencil Butter, and I think in the end it was 40 something pages that were given away. It was a huge amount of colouring pages that Pencil Butter provided for us. So huge shout to Pencil Butter for just being awesome like that. I will make sure I tag Pencil Butter down below and also include her Etsy shop and all that, so you can also go and look at the pages, because they're gorgeous work. So because she was providing the pages, I also did colour some of her artwork on the stream. So the first one I did was Usagi, and this one here, and I chose to do it in purples for World Cancer Research because of course the bow is purple. And I chose to go with Usagi because Usagi means rabbit, and rabbits are a symbol of new life. And I've never personally had cancer, but what I can understand from people I've talked to about it is when you get that diagnosis of you have cancer, it can almost feel like your life is ending. But then when you get that, we can treat it, this is treatable, or you're in remission, it's like a whole new life. So I really felt like through that sort of concept, this was a really appropriate page for it. And I just also thought it'd be really cute and purple. And of course we've got glitter. So yeah, that was so fun to colour. So it is all alcohol markers. The majority of the shading is all done in alcohol markers. There's a little bit of polychromos and Pablo coloured pencils just to deepen and define a couple of areas. But yeah, primarily all done with alcohol markers. This is like the first big page I did with my Ohuhu as well. So really pleased at how they blended together. Absolutely love the Ohuhus. And then I also made a start on citrus. I didn't get very far. This was right at the end. But we did get the hair done. And it is gorgeous. I want to do this sort of like lemon lime bitters colours. So very much we've got our lemon lime here going there. So yeah, citrus is still in progress. But we did finish off Usagi. And I really, really love both those pages. And of course Pencil Butter's gorgeous artwork, and I know that there may be some more pages coming out hopefully soon, so keep an eye out on PB Shop because there's some gorgeous pages coming up. We also did one in Everyday Magic. This is the page that chat actually chose, and we chose a design by Anna Bedale. And of course we had to do the meme page. As soon as this page was up, everyone's like, the meme page. And I was like, the meme page. Freaking love it. And I thought, since this is like fantasy based, I was like, let's do some odd colors. So I started doing this sort of more purpley skin. And then I realized it was kind of drow, which is like a underground elf colors. I was like, that's kind of cool. So we went with like a drow vibe for this, which kind of led to a story of this character being like a high level wizard, and this is like a adventuring party that's just starting off, and this character's like, high level wizard, I wonder if we could convince him to join our party. And this one's like, we don't need any wizards, we're good. So yeah, it was quite fun. So this was primarily done in alcohol markers, ohuhus for the characters, and then I used my cheaper ones for the background because I had lots of greys, so I just used all the greys for the background. A little bit of Pablo coloured pencil just to do a couple of finer details, and of course a little bit of stickles for magic. So yeah, there's a little bit of sparkle around there too. Yeah, I really do like how that one came together. So that was absolutely gorgeous as well. So that was Everyday Magic, and that was my first page in this book too. And then we did do a little bit more progress on my Libra page in Oceans to Stars. This was both during the charity stream weekend and then the weekend after, because I do have a regular live stream on Friday nights. So the following Friday night, I also did some more work on this one, and unfortunately, it's got a bunch of marks on it because I actually left this open. I think Shadow has stepped all over it, which I'm not impressed by, but that's future Amy's problem to clean up. But yeah, we got a bit more work on the hair done. I finished off all the like hydrangeas, a bit of work on the background. So I've only got a little bit of hair left to go. And then got to shade the body and do the crystals. So this one's not far away from being finished. I'm also working with a very limited palette of Inktense. This is entirely Inktense, even the light peach skin. You can make a light peach color with Inktense. There's my color palettes. If it helps anybody, feel free. Feel free. But yeah, I am loving how this is going, and I am also absolutely loving so much this book and Lydia Fenwick's artwork. I not only got Lydia Fenwick's Fourth Wing colouring book this month, I was also, which I had ordered like around the start of January, finally came in. I was also gifted Luna from a wonderful person, and it's the artist copy of Luna as well, so it's bigger, but it's gorgeous as well. And I was like, oh my god, I love so much. So yeah, I can see a lot more Lydia Fenwick being coloured. Right now, it's the only thing I'm kind of gravitating towards, which we'll talk about at the end there. And then this was just on a stream where I needed a little bit of a break. During the charity stream weekend, I had 2 prize packs that I sent out where I had a few books that they could choose from, and I also sent some New Zealand chocolates. And this was the one book that wasn't chosen, which I was actually really happy about, because this is the one book I personally would have liked to have left over, and it did get chosen. So yeah, I've just coloured the little title page on here. So yeah, this is Cozy Journal by Jade Summer. But I haven't done anything more in here. It is really cute. It's got cute little cozy illustrations, and then it's got a journaling prompt, and I really do like writing and journaling, so I do want to get in here and do some of this, but again, this month I just I haven't even got there. Right, and then the other thing that I have to talk about is the challenges. So during the charity stream weekend, I also set that every £100 raised, I would do a challenge where there was different challenges that we put along the way. But basically for every £100 raised, we did silly little challenges. And I honestly had so much fun doing these. Some of them went better than others, but they were hilarious. They were fun. And it's the reason why I look like I have a lot of completed pages this month is those challenges. Now there is a mega mix coming from all the VODs of the charity stream where I've pulled out the footage. I'm just trying to clean it up because right now it's hours upon hours upon hours long. So I'm trying to just find a way to compress that down a little bit so you still get the highlights. Some of the challenges aren't very long, but some of them took ages. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just still cleaning up that footage, but it will be coming. I will try to get off my butt and get that done soon. But for context on some of the challenges, this was our very first challenge, which was an ambidextrous colouring challenge. So this is for when we hit £100. And basically, I made myself colour with 2 tools at once. So I had two pencils going, and I had to colour with both of them at the same time. And then just so I couldn't like use the excuse of, oh, this hand, and then switch colours to clean up, you know, because I am right hand dominant, so I knew my right hand would be neater than my left hand. I made myself use these twistable crayons for my right hand, so that's all these swirly flowers that are 2-toned in colour, or 3 or 4 toned, because I used a swirly one, and then all the solid color, which is Faber-Castell connector pens, I used my non-dominant hand, and that's how I had to color the whole page. So yeah, it was definitely awkward, but you know, I think I did an all right job. I think it's pretty cool. And yes, I applied the glitter left-handed too. So that was the 100 pounds challenge. That was in A Million Llamas by Lulu Mayo. I don't think any of these are in order, so we might get a bit all over the place with the challenges here. Yeah. So that's the 3-minute. That's a 5-minute. Yeah, that was the first one, a 5-minute, and there should be another 3-minute. See if I can find. Hold up. I'll see if I can find my order here. Yeah, that was a 3-minute. Okay. So I had a couple of timed challenges. So this was the very first one I did. This was the Hold Your Folk Whimsical Workers colouring book. And this one, I set myself 5 minutes to colour the page. And this was actually the second challenge I did, because this was for £200 raised. So what I did is I grabbed like oil pastels and gelato style crayons, and I had a 5-minute timer, and I started that and I started colouring. And I started by the curtains, and I actually did some shading on the curtains, and then I looked up and it had been 2.5 minutes, and then I went, "Rah!" and started scribble colouring the rest. And I'm impressed that I got it all done. But yeah, it was definitely panic moment. I was like, I spent 2.5 minutes on the curtains. The curtains are fabulous. Oh, so you'll see that in the video. It was an absolute like, but yeah, definitely a fun time. I've also gone over this with Mod Podge Matte, which is how I'm running my hands over this with no transfer, fully set. But yeah, that was our first 5-minute challenge at £200 raised. And then, cause I had like done that 2.5 minutes of focusing on the curtains, I was like, I kind of want to do that one again. So when we got through the first £500 raised and I needed another set of challenges, I re-put it on there, because I was like, I want another go at that 5 minutes to complete a page challenge. So I used Alvin Valley by Sabrin Studio, and I did it again. And this time, you know, I didn't focus on one area or trying to blend. I just wanted to make sure I got nice color down everywhere. But I did get a little bit of blending in the background, which I was pretty impressed by. So this one was for £600 raised. And yeah, this time was a lot more chiller. It was still like a little bit of panic, but I was like, oh yeah, I feel like I completed the page pretty reasonably in 5 minutes, you know? So yeah, I do like the colors of this one. Apart from here where my hand kind of went and covered part of the face, it's not too bad. Like, and again, everything's colored. So that was Alvin Valley. And then at the, what was it, £1,100 raised, I was like, you know what? I bet you I could go faster. So I put the challenge down to 3 minutes. And I actually did 2 of them, because they're so quick when it's like 3 minutes. I was like, I'm going to do this twice, because I also couldn't decide between the books and also the mediums. So actually we'll do Fuzzy Hugo first by VV Tinter. So this one is another 3-minute one. And again, I use this sort of oil pastels to do this one. And I got through it pretty quickly. And I was very pleased with how, like, for 3 minutes, you know, the page is colored. Yeah, is it the greatest color in the world? No, but 3 minutes, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like sat there and I picked out my colors. I was like, okay, this, and then just went for it. And I was like, done. So that one was quite chill, and that's why I did it twice, because I was like, I bet ya. So I did one in Secret Forest as well by Anna Amelia, and this one I actually wanted to use pencils for. So yeah, I mean, it's again not the best coloring in the world, and it was like I was coloring things and be like, I missed this, but I managed to do it and get glitter on the page too. So yeah, so that was our £1,100 challenge, was the 2 3-minute pages. And yeah, then we had, what was this one? Dungeons and Drawings. Oh, this is the no hands challenge for £400. So for this one, I entirely coloured using my mouth. So I used paint pens and Mod Podge Extreme glitter with a paintbrush, and I would only apply it holding the tool in my mouth and then leaning forward and applying colour to the page. So yeah, that was very difficult. That hurt my teeth a lot more than I realised it would, which I should have thought about. But yeah, again, I colored this with my mouth. I was pretty pleased with it. And it was all about just having fun and doing silly things. So yeah, that was our 400-pound challenge. And of course, glitter. That was all just done with paint pens. This challenge took a while. So this was for 700 pounds raised, and I did a left-handed painting page. I used my non-dominant hand, and I had to paint the entire page, which, like, it is definitely a challenge, but because of the fact it's paint, I was also very slow. This was also day 3, and we raised, like, so much money so quickly, so I was also getting very distracted by like having to give away 5 colouring pages at once because we just dropped £250 of donations and stuff like that. So yeah, this one took me like a couple of hours to complete, but I am very pleased with how it turned out, and especially the little kitty. And yeah, again, all non-dominant hand, but this one's a nightmare to edit down. But yeah, 700 pounds raised challenge. That's Perfect Moments by Madison Nook. Cat Mom by VV Tinter is this one here. Now, this was for 900 pounds raised. At 900 pounds, I was actually going to have Shadow come up on the desk and put like things down with a treat and see what he went for first and let him dictate the page. But I also was like, if Shadow is, asleep somewhere, or I'm not going to disturb him if he's not willing to come. And he wasn't willing to come. I couldn't even find him, to be honest. Actually, no, was he on the deck at this stage? I don't know. He was either fast asleep and wouldn't even look up at me, or I couldn't find him. So, yeah. But my backup was I had dice that controlled the page. So I used the 4 Ohuhu colour sheets, which are labelled 1, 2, 3, 4. So I rolled a d4 for which sheet we went for, and then I think it's like 6 rows across, and then it's 16 or so columns down. So I rolled a d6 and a d20. And use that to choose my colour. And it's surprisingly cohesive. Like, it really was quite a surprising palette combo that works well together. Yeah. So, very, very, like, surprisingly cohesive. And then I used a little bit of pencil just to add some shadows and stuff like that. Yeah. That was our 900 pounds raised challenge. And then what do we have in here? Oh yeah, this one was for 1,200, and this was me using, it was meant to be a 2 marker challenge. I've already forgotten the name, and if I put it in here, there's a wonderful, wonderful illustrator who does colouring using just 2 markers and does these really bright, bold, dynamic colourings. So we were taking inspiration from that. So it is technically meant to be 2 markers, however, it is technically 6 or so markers, but it is 2 markers per column. So basically my oranges were running out, so I used 3 different oranges. So these are different orange per column, and I think we also swapped purples halfway through. But luckily I had very similar ones, but it is like each square is definitely only a purple and an orange. And it's pretty sure each column of orange is like 1 orange marker. It just, they kept on dying. So it is still a 2 marker challenge. It's just my markers were dying because I used my cheap ones. Yeah, it's not the most effective, but I was pleased with what I did manage to do with the technique. Like, there's definitely some shading and stuff like that, so could have pushed it a bit more, but yeah, it was fun. It was a good way to try out that thing too, and it really gets you to think about light and shadow. So that was in Cozy Friends by Coco Wyatt. And then the next challenges, these were definitely some of the favourite challenges. There should be one more. I thought I did 3 blindfolded challenges. What book am I missing? Am I missing a book? Did I not write something down? Is something still drawing somewhere and I've forgotten to grab it? Okay, you know what the problem was? I actually did it in the same book twice. I did 2 of them in this book, and I forgot to mark one of them, and I thought it was in a different book. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, I did 3 blindfolded challenges. So the very first one that I did was this one here, which is at 300 pounds, and I think these ones are definitely my favorite. I think they were the favorite to do, but I think they were also the favorite for chat to watch. I don't know, you'll all have to give me your opinion, but I feel like these ones were the funniest. I did go back and watch the footage, just to see what people were thinking and saying while I did it. So for this one, I took a minute to actually measure up the page with my fingers and be like, okay, this, and I had to set things beside me, and then I coloured it, and I did pretty good. Like, if I took the whole thing and just went up a bit and to the left a bit, it would actually be pretty bang on. Like, I think I did pretty well on this one. I was like, when I opened it, I was like, I'm actually pretty impressed. I did mix up a couple of the colours, but that's fine. But yeah, so that was the £300, and it was the blindfolded one. And then one thing that about the blindfolded challenges was it made me realize, because I couldn't see chat, I also couldn't be alerted if, for example, I went off the page or any problems that were going on. So to do another blindfolded challenge, I was like, I should probably, it was suggested, why don't you get someone on voice? Why don't you get Smalt on voice? And Smalt very kindly agreed to jump on voice for me, which was fantastic. So the next blindfolded challenge we did was for 800, and it was called a blindfolded but guided challenge. And in this one, Smalt was on voice. I put a pile of stuff down in front of me and blindfolded myself. I didn't even really look at the page too long, and I just trusted Smalt to guide me. And do the best to colour the page. We did have some glue explosions. So the glue was definitely thick on this one, but I love this one. This one turned out so good. It was just so funny. And having Smalt on voice and trying to like not crack up laughing, or ruin the supplies. Like they were acting very neutral for this one, which is great. So they did such a great job, and I know there was a lot of they had a lot of pressure, so I very, very much appreciate it. So thank you, Smalt, as well, because definitely you made this challenge. Definitely, so it was great. So that was the for £800, and then the third blindfolded challenge, I had the wonderful Ruby from This Is Ruby OK on voice for this one. And so on this one, I wasn't being guided. Instead, I was trying to colour with my non-dominant hand, and Ruby was here to remind me to keep to my non-dominant hand, because I did have a tendency to go to this hand, but to just like talk me through it, and also was my like, hey, you're going off frame or anything. But this one was hilarious because I forgot to even look at the page long term. So I just kind of briefly looked at it and went, okay, and then put it on. And then I was like, crap, I don't actually remember. So I was having to talk through what I thought my decisions were on the page. And Ruby, like, shout out to Ruby for just keeping absolutely monotone and not spoiling, if my decision was right or wrong, just letting me kind of like make up the decision. So this one, like, I remember the trident, I just did it the wrong way. And then because the trident was that way, and my logic, the tail was this way, where like a lot of my logic made sense. But I couldn't remember a lot because I didn't take long enough to actually look at the page. And it wasn't till I was like part way in, I was like, whoops. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, my reactions when I see them are just crack up as well. I had so much fun doing these, and again, they're so silly, but they were great. And for every £100 raised, I was willing to make a fool of myself on the internet for charity. Because yeah, that's the fun of doing charity stuff. And then the final things I've got to show you is basically, as you saw me go through those totals, you might have noticed that I missed £500 and £1,000 raised. And that is because at the £500 and £1,000 raised, I did a challenge, but it was a special challenge, and it was like a significant challenge, because every £500 raised basically funded a PhD student to finish their research. So it was like a doctor a day was basically what I was aiming for, £500 a day. And so at the £500 and £1,000 raised, I set myself a huge challenge of drawing and releasing colouring pages. I have been designing a colouring book in my head for probably the last year or so. I have if you've ever seen my spreadsheet where I have all my book titles and stuff like that, there's always been a secret tab of secrets at the bottom. That has been my colouring book plan. I've got sketches, I've got concepts, but I've never taken the plunge to actually draw any of the pages, and that is because the injury that I have from falling over due to my arthritis means that my hands aren't quite the same. I started colouring as a means to learn to freehold a pencil so that I could learn to draw again. And I can definitely colour, but drawing feels different, and it's never felt quite right because the injury's not fully healed, and it's never going to be fully healed. And so because of that, I've always had this block because I've always compared current drawing Amy to past drawing Amy, which is a bad thing to do, but it is a challenge to work through. And I've realized that it was basically, if I didn't have something to push me, I was never going to do it. So I use this to be the push, the challenge. And I mean, this was like a huge challenge for me to be vulnerable about my drawing, how scared I was to do this, and commit to not one, but 2 colouring pages, drawn live, and then released. And so the rest of the month was spent drawing, inking, and releasing 2 colouring pages. And these have been released. They are for free. They are on my Ko-fi store. It's pay what you want, but please feel free to go and put 0 in there because, you know, money's tight and I like freebies. But yeah, we have designed and released 2 colouring pages. So I did draw them A3 size, which is this size. These are printouts of the ink lines, but yeah, I drew them live, I inked them live, then I scanned and cleaned up and then printed. So these are all hand drawn. These are a whole playlist of me drawing these live. But the basic premise behind this colouring book, because it is a full storybook, is it comes about because my nibblings, which is a term I use for my niece and nephew, one day when I was babysitting them, asked me what happens when Shadow jumps over the fence and goes down to the bottom garden. And me being a DM for tabletop roleplay and being a storyteller, made up a magical world at the bottom of the garden. And then later on, I was having a really bad night and I was thinking about the story. I was like, that would be a really cute colouring book. And so for the last year or so, I've had in my head the story of Shadow and the Secret of the Garden Glen as Papaya and Peel head to a magical world. So the idea is that they start off in the real world. We have a few scenes of the 2 kids and Shadow the cat doing things in the real world, and then Shadow escapes over the backyard. They follow him down a garden path and then through a portal, and they end up in the Garden Glen. And here, so I've done 2 scenes from them in the Garden Glen. Ignore the printer there because the printer decided to go bleh, but that's not actually there, as you can see over here. So in this one, this is Leaf Rider. So Papaya, Peel, and Shadow are racing leaves down a river. We've got our little duckies cheering them on. Yes, that is specifically meant to look like a side duck. It's a little nod. More duckies, umpire, ref, ducky, squirrel, little fae. The fae live in the rainbow cloudland. And then there's a little mermaid because there's also a massive lake in the middle of here, and there's an octopus in the lake, so that's a nod to the mermaids in the lake. And then also the little fishies. And then there's also giant trees, which are kind of like malls and apartment buildings. So after that, they go visit one of the tree malls, and so you can see that they're visiting tree treats here. So Papaya has a giant block of chocolate, and Peel is eating lollipops and candy, and being given even bigger candy by the bird shopkeeper. And on the next level below, a little moth and ladybird are having a chat after their big day of shopping, while Shadow says hi to an owl. So yeah, those are the 2 pages that have been released. I am incredibly proud of them. There are moments I look at it and I'm like, oh god, and then I'm like, no, I'm actually really proud of what I've done. I also think that they're really cute to colour. The file pack will come with A4 size, A3 size, but then they're also sized for 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 17. There's just a little bit of extra white space top and bottom because of that size being slightly bigger. But they are designed to be easy print. And I've had so many people who were not only so incredibly supportive during the streams and telling me how much they were looking forward to coloring the page and their excitement about the pages, and also just like feedback while designing it. And you know, we talk about the ideas, and like I have some rough sketches, but then you all can throw stuff out and it gets influenced into the page, right? And then yeah, I've already the nieces and nephews, so the real life, these aren't the real life papaya and peel. They're inspired by papaya and peel, but the real life papaya and peel also have versions of this page. And I've just this morning received papayas fully colored in Treetop Treats page, and oh my gosh, it's stunning. I'm such a proud aunt. And I can't wait to see more people color these in. So I would really, really love if you want to color these pages in. Again, I will link my Ko-fi down below. It says pay what you want. You are absolutely welcome to do them for free. I've put them out for free. They are freebies in my mind, because again, this community has been incredibly supportive, and I wouldn't be here where I am without this community. So please take them, color them in, post them and show me them so I can share them and squeal and be absolutely delighted. But this is undoubtedly my favorite thing in the month. I know it's not even a completed page, but like, I love my pencil butter completed page. I love the work in Libra. But it's the emotional response of this and just feeling so proud to not only have this out, but to have moved through that block and actually have drawn something and gone, I actually really like this. So yeah, and it's made me determined to do some more. So I will be trying to once a month drop some more coloring pages and maybe work towards actually putting out this full book, because it's a full story book. There's a little story that goes with it. Yeah, I think it's really sweet and adorable, and I think it'd just be the ultimate dream to put it out. And you know, if I get a lot of people loving coloring the pages, well, all the more to it. So yeah, I really do hope you're going to get the coloring pages and you enjoy, and let me know. And if you want to help us, the next page that we're designing is actually the mermaid lake with the octopus that lives at the bottom of it. And it's a big spread. It's fun though. I'm so excited. I get to draw so many water friends, so of course I'm in love. But I'm really excited to get into it. And yeah, that's probably the next one I'm going to be drawing, and that'll be taking place in my live stream. So come and hang out in live and maybe influence a coloring page. So yeah, that's everything I've colored in the month of February, which isn't a lot for me, but as you might be able to gather from all that too, I've only been coloring on lives and admittedly have been feeling a bit burnt out lately. So yeah, I think that's why the drawings also hit so well, because it's a nice refresh, you know, to do this as well. But yeah, I'm going to take off now because I actually have some stuff to do, and mostly I want to go and curl up and have a day of nothing after a month of chaos. And yeah, we'll be heading into March. I have no plans for March. I'm not planning to make any plans for March. The only thing I want to do is some more drawing. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this completed pages. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all the charity stuff, and I will catch you all in the next video. All the araha to you all. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye. Go get the coloring pages.